For those who don't know, Eric Lewis, an NBA ref, is currently being exposed by NBA Twitter for having a burner account.
An interesting twist in the NBA playoffs has come to light recently. This video is via Chaz NBA. Please sub to his YouTube channel as he does really good basketball breakdowns.
And so if we have a look at who the burner account is following, there's 5 accounts that it follows. 4 of them have to do with NBA refs or NBA. And the last one is George Mason women's basketball team, which is so random because why would they follow that? Well, the head coach of the team is Eric Lewis's wife. So the rumor is that Eric Lewis is a massive Boston Celtics fan. There was a photo where his wife and kids were all wearing Celtics jerseys.
Lewis has allegedly been exposed, though he appeared to come to his own defense by blaming his brother Mark Lewis on what went down. However,
the NBA has opened an investigation focusing on referee Eric Lewis for the possibility of his involvement with a Twitter account used mainly to respond to tweets about league officiating. Now, it's against league rules for referees to publicly comment on officiating without authorization.
A serious offense.
You want to elaborate? You want to share it with the world, or do you just want to keep it to yourself and crack up?
Well, I don't think anybody can go right now until Perk cleanses himself for this and gets it all out of his system. You done, Perk? Keep going.
What's the funniest part to Perk? What is making you cry? What is the funniest part of that?
It's the whole thing.
But it didn't stop the NBA community from laughing at the ordeal.
I think it's just very tough because I will say this, the player's voice is going to get louder and louder and louder. If the NBA needs to get this right because the integrity of the game is at risk. The referees have never been under more scrutiny.
You almost had me, RJ. Never been under more scrutiny. So Tim Donaghy never happened. The calls between Scott Foster and Tim Donaghy never happened. I mean, come on, what are we doing here? We can't be a prisoner of the moment. So the burner account, which I'll speed up for time, sent reply after reply after reply. We are talking about what appears to be hundreds of replies to tweets that featured Eric Lewis's name. What stands out is that the account called Blair Cutliff defended Lewis over and over again, barking back at those who dared to critique his refereeing style. This was likely done because the user behind the account went to the Twitter search box and typed in Lewis's name. It seems, quite honestly, comical at this point. The NBA is rightfully investigating. They announced as such on May 29th. 2 things. Should he be fired for this? No. But there is a rule that Brian Windhorst talked about that says you can't do things such as these, whether it's an interview with an outlet or a burner account. Point blank, period. The second is how this all came about that we learned this. Credit where it's due. The account Pablo Escobarner brought all this to light on May 25th, along with the user Mikey_Weiland. These dudes really exposed a potential KD style, Brian Colangelo style, and yes, a standing U.S. Senator and former presidential candidate Mitt Romney style burner account. Another tell was this, and this is quite important. Eric Lewis attended Bethune-Cookman University, where he was a basketball player. His wife worked for the Bethune-Cookman women's basketball team. The Twitter account would tweet at the university previously asking about a live stream of a game. Mikey Weiland is an avid listener of the Jenkins and Jones podcast, whose work I have featured on this very medium. They have a podcast with volume. They do great stuff, great NBA talk, fantastic all around. The story, also credit where it's due, was first reported by longtime NBA media member Mark Stein. Per ESPN, Lewis is in his 19th season as a referee, has officiated more than 1,100 games and 82 playoff games. He has been one of the NBA's highest-ranked highest rated officials in recent years, and has been assigned to 6 finals games since 2019. He last worked game 1 of the Western Conference Finals between the Nuggets and Lakers on May 16th.
So the problem is that if this is true, he would have violated a basic tenet of NBA refereeing guidelines, which is that you can't make public comments about your profession, about your job, about your calls. It's all unauthorized by the NBA, whether you do it under a pseudonym, whether you do it when TMZ comes up to you in the airport, whether you do it, to a media member. All of those sort of fall into the same umbrella, although this is obviously in a bit of a new territory ground.
And 2 dudes who were really not pleased to find all this out were LeBron James and Patrick Beverley. James tweeted, "This Eric Lewis poop true?" While Pat Bev wrote, "Laughed at me when I grabbed the camera. Yeah, all right." Beverly crossed paths with Lewis in a game against the C's, who NBA Twitter alleges he curries calls for. Beverly received a tech for bringing the camera onto the court to demonstrate the missed call. In addition, fans were interested in the C's 63% winning percentage in games Lewis officiated, the highest of all 30 teams Lewis has officiated games for. Deadspin's DJ Dunson wrote, "Although it's unclear why that account would operate in secrecy and doesn't explain why the Cutliff Blair account includes the maiden name of Eric's wife, Vanessa Blair, in its handle." Dead giveaway. Dead giveaway. Now, to reiterate, the Twitter account that we think is Eric Lewis is saying that it is his brother Mark, and Mark should be blamed, and Mark is taking the fall. The NBA will be investigating, and I'm sure we will hear the conclusion of this during the finals, if not shortly thereafter.